This is Tilak. Welcome back to VBCS tutorial. Today we are going to see one more functionality. The last time we saw how to sorting the table. Uh, if you want to have a look, you can look that in my previous video. What we are going to see today is how to filter the data. There are more than one way you can filter the data. For example, you can use the uh, Q parameter, or you can use what's that called, V criteria, or you can use finder. Okay, uh, we'll see one by one. uh, okay, now we'll take the first example as a Q parameter. If you are looking at variable, I have that already. I have done a table. Whatever the last time we used it for a sorting purpose, we'll use the same thing. I just remove the sorting. We don't need to use that anymore. Sorting. If you want, what we do here is we are going to use the Q parameter. How do we use the Q parameter? The same, the same thing. I'm going to use the hard coding here, but it is not necessarily has to be hard coded. If you can put everything in a variable, then you can use the variable here. Dynamically you can change it, like all the stuff you can do that. So here now for the Q parameter, I'm going to do the hard coding part. Now here also basically you need which column and what kind of data, how you are going to like you know filtering it. Now I'm going to use the item name, and I'm going to use the like. Here you can use the in variable, in condition, or like equal condition. You can do all these things. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the item name. Okay, item name, that is exactly the attribute name, whatever the name. Then it is, I'm putting in a capital. Then what, like I put some variable, like I think there's a data with a name called Lani. Okay, now this is the Q parameter. Now what it is going to do here is this will go as a part of the, when that the rest is executed, it goes as a parameter. So this automatically validate the value, which is the Lani is the asked a Lani over the name. Okay, now we go to the page designer. See, this is validated. Okay, now I can run this product. Run this page. Okay, you have a Lani here. Okay, now how do I use more than one criteria? Like I can have a more than one. I go back to variable. I can go back to here, Q parameter. Then I can say A and say, can I use a unit display? Unit display like, say US, start with US, US, start with US. Okay, that is what it is. Okay, now, okay, you make sure this is a static, because that's what you are saying. If you are using expression, probably you have to go with a quote, and the way name and everything has to go with the quote, and all this stuff you have to make sure happens. Okay, now let me go to the page. I do a display here. See that the Lani and the US. This is, let me run it again here again. Okay, the same thing is filtered. This is how you use the Q parameter. Now we will use the second way of filtering the data. Let me go to the variable. Let me remove the Q. Okay, I'm removing the Q part. The advantage of the Q is you can use any column, any in any condition. That's the advantage. Okay, now you can also use filter criteria. Okay, the same thing, filter criteria, you can use that. Okay, Now we go to the filter criteria attribute, like we can say that uh, what do you call it, the variable is here. What is the item name? What happened? Cancel. Okay, I just queue is, I'm removing the queue, I'm saving it, I make sure the queue is gone. Filter criteria, I'm coming to the filter criteria, I'm creating it, I'm using the column name here, item name, item name contains, it is like, you can see the contains, you can say that Lani here, or you can use that variable. You can use also variable. This is also allowed to pick up a variable. Okay, let me see if it, I hope it works. Okay, let me go here. See, the Lani is validated. You get all the value which has got a Lani. The same thing, you can have one more, then you can validate the unit display. That's one other way you can do that. Or you can have a kind of a, like you can put a value here, then whatever you are typing it, you can do that here. Okay, that let's see how we work on that part. Now let me have a okay, let me go to the variable, let me go to the page designer. I hope this is attached to a code. Let me go to the code. Okay, let me attach to a variable here. Do I have a variable? I don't have to check. Let me go here and let me pull it here a little bit here. So I know that, do I have a variable? No, I don't have a variable. So what I do here is I create a variable. Page level. So search string. Okay, search data is a string. Okay, so now it has got a search data. Okay, now when I go to the variable, I can say the variable is here. Search data is yeah, search data. Whatever the search data, I'm going to use that to change. Am I right? So I go here. I am going to filter criteria. Okay, instead of Lani, I'm going to use the variable. Okay, search data, I'm going to use it. Okay. Now the only thing is, when I type it is not going to work here. The reason is, okay, if you are going there, there may not be anything. So that probably, if nothing is there, probably the data is coming. If I type, like say, like, okay, I go live here. Okay, if I type here, it is not going to work. Is it working? Yeah, it is working, because when the data is changing, it is changing. Okay, that's good thing. Okay, if I say TCS here, see that TCS is happening. I thought, like, we have to, when the data change automatically, it may not fire the event to refresh the table, but it is happening here. That's a good thing. Okay, now if I say that bonus is coming here, like, say everywhere there's a bonus is there. So that is the one way you can do that. Okay, this is the second way we are looking at that. Now we look at the third possibility. How do we do that? That is the interesting possibility. Okay, if you are coming from a ADF background, like, when you create a view or vivo, you create a view criteria. The view criteria can be put into the REST service as a row finder. They are calling as a finder. Okay, now we can use these finder to filter the data. For this, you have to know what is the finder name and what are the like an item used in the finder. Now how do we find it? Okay, now if you describe your service, that tell you what are the finder is there. Okay, now I have this one. Okay, this URL does not works for you, so like, that's kind of a, don't use it. if I'm describing it, like if I'm looking for a finder, okay, if you are looking for a finder, I can total compensation item finder is the total compensation name finder. I'm going to use this total compensation name finder. Now, okay, this is using that we've created a called find by item name, and what the item is the item name is used. So you have to use the item name to this. Or the other one you can use also the find advanced search is asked more than one data type code, item name, source code, all these things are used. So now this is what we are going to use it. Okay. Okay. Now what I need item name and the name of the finder. Okay. Now we'll come back to this one. Come back to the data. Now we go to the variable. Okay, I'm going to remove this part. Okay, I'm going to delete this because I don't want to complicate with the multiple one. Okay, now I delete it. Okay, now I'm saving it. So now if I look at that, I don't have filter criteria. Now if you are looking here, this is something called finder. This is what I'm going to use it. Now how do I use it? Okay, finder semicolon. Okay, semicolon. Now item name equivalent to, here you have to put that variable as it is. Okay, now I'm going to use something called all award. Okay, I'm not using any kind of variable or anything. So I'm just I can use a variable actually, then you have to put them. It is not a static expression, that comes into the expression part. Then you put them everything into the code, then plus you put a add, plus then you use the variable. That's the one way of working on that. Here I'm just for the tutorial, I'm just using a hard-coded variable. You can use the variables. Okay. Now here it is using a equal to. The only thing missing in that describe is what kind of a condition it is. It doesn't say whether it says is it using a in condition, like condition, nothing says. All it says is item name. So I know that item name is it is using a equi conditions, joint conditions, equivalent conditions. So I'm putting a full name here, all about. Okay. Now let me go and save this part. Now go to the page designer. There is something is wrong. Says no display. Let me go and see that what is wrong here. Finder item name finder comma item name all awards. Sorry, it's called all awards. Sorry, that is that. See, this is filtered with all awards. Okay, here also you can have a more than one column. That you can use a comma delimiter to define a different columns, and you can put that. That's the one way of working that. Okay, that's all for the day. This this tutorial will cover the three way of covering. Either you can use the Q parameter, or you can use the criteria, or you can use the finder. Okay, if you have any question, please let me know. You can put it in the comment. If you like it, please that also let me know. And if you have any suggestion or any better way of doing it, please let me know. I also learned something. Okay. Till I see you next time. Bye.